we're here today to just go over the annual report required by the town of Manlius to New York State DEC with regard to our speedies permit. And I just thought I'd give everybody can hear me, right? Yeah, okay. So I just want to give a short overview of the town of Manlius stormwater management program. We do have a stormwater management program plan that's been adopted by the town. It's in place, and that works as the backbone for our stormwater programs in the community. And that's basically made up of 6 reporting criteria that we report on an annual basis: public education and outreach, public involvement and participation, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site stormwater runoff control, post-construction stormwater management, and pollution prevention, and good housekeeping. A little bit of the background on what we do here, some of the key personnel and some of the key organizations involved in the town of Manlius stormwater management program include the town board, traditionally the planning board, the highway superintendent, the town engineer, codes officer, Onondaga County Water Environment Protection, regional planning, the Central New York Stormwater Coalition, and Onondaga County Soil and Water. Some of the concerns that we look for in our stormwater pollutants of concern, traditionally are pollutants such as phosphorus, silt and sediment, toxic substances, pathogens, biological oxygen demand, oil and grease, metals such as lead, mercury, copper, cadmium, thermal stress, floatables, i.e. litter. Some of the sources can be street pavement, motor vehicles, spills, litter, lawn care, home septic systems, etc. There are exempt stormwater discharges, things such as water line flushing, landscape irrigation, footer drains, naturally occurring springs, residual street wash water, and any speedies permitted discharges among others. So it kind of gives a background. There is intermunicipal cooperation, and that's basically through WEP, regional planning, and the coalition. I'll quickly go through some of the reporting criteria that we report on an annual basis. And they're labeled as minimum control measures. So minimum control measures 1 and 2 are very similar in nature, and traditionally the town contracts with regional planning through the CNY Stormwater Coalition for these criteria. It's the most efficient way to do this, and there's several pages of documentation in the annual report of activities which regional planning has conducted on behalf of the coalition over the past year. And in general, public education and outreach, they identify pollutants of concern, water bodies of concern, geographic areas. Regional planning assists with ongoing public education and outreach programs, pollutants of concern. You may see some of these in kiosks at the mall, kiosks at the state fair. You'll see on Earth Day, there is usually a handout in the local newspapers. It is put out by Okra in conjunction with regional planning, and it gives some insight into things that you can do in your own neighborhoods. The Save the Rain program is promoted through this, those type of activities. Likewise, the public participation, regional planning conducts open forums. Right now, they have reached out to all the coalition members with an online survey that I believe Allison, we've put online in the town of Manlius, trying to garner support and input from local residents of things which they feel would be of benefit for the coalition to focus on in upcoming events. And Kathy Bertucci leads that for the coalition. And yeah, Kathy does this on a rotating basis about every 5 years. And then she comes back and coordinates with the coalition group and the community as a whole on these type of activities. So that's control measure 1, control measure 2, control measure 3 is illicit discharge detection and elimination. Over the past few years, the folks at Onondaga County Soil and Water have been able to assist with random inspections with the coalition. They've coordinated that through Adam Woodbury at WEP, and WEP has graciously allowed at cost laboratory assistance for any illicit discharges that potentially are found by Onondaga County Soil and Water. Additionally, WEP has a hotline that they monitor, which is promoted through their website. I believe we have that on ours also. I believe it's the 435-5204 number. In the last year, we did have one illicit discharge that we went out to investigate up on the Woodbox area. Rob Cushing and I went out and took care of that. But that was through the assistance of Soil and Water. Additionally, on a continuing basis with the staff at the Highway Department, they are our eyes and ears on a lot of the illicit discharge detection activities, as they are continuously out and about maintaining some of the basins that we own, maintaining some of the outfalls, and on the roads day in, day out, winter, summer, and fall. And they have been educated on stress levels, siltation, heat stress, discoloration, and if they see anything, they report back to the highway superintendent, and we go out with a remedial action as required. Control measure 4 is construction site stormwater runoff. So every project that we have in the town of Manlius, which disturbs over an acre of land, has a stormwater prevention, pollution prevention plan. Those are reviewed by the town and are then kept on file for future reference. And they have the notice of intent, the acceptance, and operation and maintenance requirements for all the subdivisions where the work is done. I'm just looking for in here for details, not to bore anybody. As part of that activity, the SWIPs require weekly inspections. Those inspection reports are sent into the town. They're reviewed by myself or Randy, and then they are kept on file in the clerk's office for a minimum of 5 years. So some of those are now coming in electronically, and Lisa has been filing those electronically. the hard copies that we've received in the past via facsimile are also on file. So that's kind of it for the construction activities. We monitor those construction activities on a continual basis between myself and the codes officer staff headed by Randy Capriati and then Rob Cushing. We've coordinated some of that activity into our highway permit application process so that we make sure that everything is done in compliance with the SWIP and that there are securities on hand to make sure things are put into motion. Post-construction stormwater management is the minimum control measure number 5. That is basically once the facilities, the catch basins, the storm pipes, and the basins have been accepted and stabilized, then we put them into our inventory. Current inventory indicates approximately 35 basins, stormwater basins, 28 outfalls, and close to 900 catch basins. Traditionally, the stormwater piping and the catch basins are deeded to the town and the town roads. Rob keeps a running inventory of cleaning the basins, the pipes, and sweeping the roads. Approximately 110 miles of roads in the town, and they're swept twice a year. So traditionally, we report on our MS4 annual report, sweeping and cleaning of 220 miles of roads. We try to clean somewhere between 100 and 120 catch basins a year so that we get through all the catch basins in a continual basis of 5 to 7 years, and keep track of how much we clean. The debris cleaned out of the manholes is brought back to the highway department and then manifested to Kinsella quarries as incoming fill, so that we know exactly how much we've cleaned and where that has gone and has been disposed of properly. Lastly, measure 6. I'm just looking through my notes here. Measure 6 is pollution prevention and good housekeeping. And basically, those are the things that we just talked about, that Rob keeps track of. The miles of road that are cleaned, the catch basins cleaned. We also reach out to privately owned stormwater systems on a continuing basis with confirmation letters to indicate that the owners are maintaining their basins in accordance with the SWIP that we have on file. And generally speaking, I think that's a brief overview of our stormwater program.
Good job, Doug.
Did I put you to sleep, Elaine? I hope I didn't.
Oh, that was good. Great information. The only question I do have is, some of these on the report, some of the answers are like cut off. Is there a way to fix that?
I believe, and I don't know if Deb can hear or not. That's the information that comes from regional planning.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get into the original PDF, you should be able to scroll down, right?
But the way it prints out, it just freezes it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's pretty voluminous once you get into it, Elaine, and you scroll down.
Mhm.
And this is just the way that it prints out. If I sent Elaine the PDF, could she scroll down through it, Deb?
I don't know if the PDF will. It might. You can take a look at it.
Okay.
I mean, the original that we put together?
Yeah.
Yeah, she should be able to, yes.
Okay. Already send it over to you, Elaine?
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, the first couple of times I did this and I saw that, I thought the same thing. So, you know, in Manlius, we do get a lot of calls from time to time. So, you know, we've tried to be pretty transparent with this. The other thing in here in the reporting, I just can't find, I had everything all organized here. You know, one of the things in the reporting section 6 is that as part of the good housekeeping, we do have a pretty extensive spill prevention plan down at the highway department. So we do training, and we have a spill prevention plan. So as part of the good housekeeping, a lot of that applies to I want to find there's the list. It applies to things down at the highway department. And the list of things in here, if you've looked at it, Elaine, I mean, it's street maintenance, it's bridge maintenance, winter road maintenance, salt storage, solid waste management, things at the municipal building, vehicle and fleet maintenance. So for instance, you know, some of the things we talk about in the spill prevention plan are disposal of oil and petroleum products. So there's a full recycling program that basically Bill Beeman runs for the town, and he's thoroughly on top of this stuff. You know, it goes right down to you know, those orange rags that you'll see people using. You know, you use them a few times and then you throw them into the recycling bucket, and the recycling company comes back, they take the rags, they bring new rags, and all of that material is manifested and taken back to recycling. In the past, we have used the recycled oil. We have an agreement with the town of Pompey. They have a recycled oil burner that they use for heat in their facility. And we have kept a track of how much oil we send them, and they confirm that it's been received. We do spill prevention training programs. I believe it's on a 3-year period. So we've got that scheduled again for this year to go in, update the spill prevention plan. It also, in the spill prevention plan, includes double-walled tanks for petroleum products, storage requirements underneath oils and lubricants, tie downs for areas that could be impacted by the floodplain down at the highway department, and then just general maintenance and sweeping at the facility. So there are a lot of things that the town of Manlius does very well. I can attest that, you know, communities that aren't MS4s, even some that are not at the threshold of the town of Manlius. For the most part, I would say that we're probably, you know, 99% compliant, and that's what the residents expect, and that's what we provide for them. We've even, you know, with the highway department, I'm looking here, winter road maintenance. Rob has now got all the trucks fully automated with Jimmy John's on the back. So he knows exactly how much salt he's putting down in different areas. We have talked about, he does pre-wetting. He's implemented that in the past few years, which helps to minimize the amount of salt. We have talked a little bit about, some potential use of brine. In fact, the last couple of trucks that Rob's ordered, we've taken a look and he's ordered them with the ability to put brine on the trucks. So, that's pretty, what do I say? He's far and above a lot of other communities in the area and doing that. So I guess with that, I mean, that kind of gives us the overview. I think everything's all set. I mean, it should be all set for Ed's signature now. We've documented that it was on the web. We've documented through this that we try to garner input. Normally, Elaine, these reports are due on June 1st. This year, there was a request by the regional coalition to extend that out to August, and the DEC pushed back and said, we don't have a problem if you're going to be a little bit late, try to meet the June 1st deadline, but as long as you're responsive in your submission, we're fine whenever you get it in. So, I mean, the town of Manlius is right on target, and I don't see any reason that, this week we couldn't have the supervisor sign it and send it in and be done with it. The other thing that we've worked on, we've talked a little bit, is town of Manlius has 2 watersheds. One goes to Oneida Lake, one goes to Onondaga Lake. So because of the issues with Onondaga Lake, we have a semi-annual report that we send into the DEC with issues in the Onondaga Lake watershed. Our Onondaga Lake watershed is not heavily populated. So generally speaking, we don't have a lot of issues in that watershed per se, but we are sensitive to it, and we understand that, the far northwest side of the town, tributary to Lake Creek, does head to Onondaga Lake. So I'll try to get that report and send it over to you, Elaine.
Great, that would be great. Thanks.
And, if you have any questions or, like I said last night, I mean, if you want to take any tours at, any of these facilities, or, we've also done the sewer pump station tours, and we're completing a solar array over on the DeWitt landfill. If you wanted to go over there and take a look at that, I know that's a little bit more interesting. We'd be happy to set any of that stuff up for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. Do we have anything else?
I don't think so. Deb, this is a little bit more interesting than what we usually do.
More in-depth understanding of the report I pulled together.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Sounds good.
Okay. Elaine, are you all set?
I'm all set. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome.
Okay. Any
All
questions?
right.
Give a holler.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.